Welcome, and thanks for tuning in to this fantastic, interesting session where we will be talking about the future of the actuarial function in a world of AI and large language models. My name is Frederick. I've been in the insurance industry for the last 21 years, most of them on the insurance side, working as C-level executive in operations, in executive management, and digital transformation. Today, I am the deputy CEO of a company named eData Information Management, which helps insurers improve their underwriting and improve how they manage claims, all based on AI and big data. I've been motivated, thrilled, fascinated about big data since, 20 years or so. And with the advent of the large language models, ChatGPTs of the world, it's just opened a completely new world for me. I also appreciate that many of us, many of you, me, is looking into the future, an uncertain future where we're saying what's going to happen next. If the AI is capable of doing so many things, well, where do we fit in? And this is some of the things we'll be talking about today. And I can guarantee you do fit in. This is very important to underline. Yes, there are things that the computer's AI can do and can do much better than us, but there are still things, many things, that need human intervention. So lean back and enjoy, and I'll take you through the future for the insurance industry, some of the operational challenges that our industry is facing at the moment. We will look at AI in the lens of the actuarial function, and at the end I'll give you some direct advice to how do you get started working with AI, being an actuary. Or if you're not an actuary and still watching this, how do you get started with AI, regardless of who you are? But one thing is certain, and I want to make absolutely sure when you turn me off, then you remember you cannot not do AI. I mean, it's end of discussion. There is this saying that AI will not take our jobs, but people who understand how to use AI, they will. And I believe this firmly. But let's take a step back and look at the future of the insurance industry. Let's take a look into the crystal ball and see where is it all headed? Where is the insurance industry headed? Now, if I'm to give you my predictions on where the insurance industry is headed, I can tell you at least 6 main areas where we will see change. We will maybe not see the change tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and maybe not within this year, but change will come. It is inevitable. It's a question of when, not if. First, and this has already started in many countries, is the shift from reactive to proactive engagement with the customers. Using Internet of Things, using new underwriting models, using incentives to help customers take better care of themselves or the insured items. We will see this even more, and we've seen it already. We've seen it with telematics in cars. We've seen it with Internet of Things, with the smart devices for health insurance. We've seen it with the smart devices for home insurance. We've seen how devices are put into factories to monitor the factory's operation and make an early warning to reduce the risk of catastrophic failures. And this is only going to increase. The cost of the small devices that you use for Internet of Things, that you connect, the cost of AI, the cost of monitoring is just plummeting. And it becomes more and more readily accessible to work with. So we will see a shift towards proactive prevention. This has a lot of implications for how you work with your customers, how you do your underwriting, of course. And I leave that analysis to you, dear actuaries, to look into, but it will come, and it is already here to some extent. Building on this, the advent of the large language models, the AI, the ChatGPTs of the world, it's already there. It's already very, very advanced, but maybe you've heard of ChatGPT and are hopefully using it on an everyday basis, but still there's 50% of the world who hasn't heard or even tried ChatGPT at the moment. But that will start skyrocketing. ChatGPT will start being implemented in everything. We'll see it already now with Microsoft's Copilots in the whole suite. Everything we will be working with in the future will have some kind of large language models embedded. And that means a lot of the things that we're doing today will be automated, will be supported by these decision-making tools. So we will have to spend significantly less time on administration. I believe insurers, companies, people who understand this and start using it before everybody else will have a competitive advantage. It's as simple as this. If you are proficient in using ChatGPT, if you know how to utilize AI in your everyday life, you will be able to work faster and smarter than your peers. Same goes for competition, same goes for companies. On the insurance product front, and this is somewhat related to embedded insurance as well, but we will start seeing a greater uptake of paramedic insurance, microinsurances, pay-as-you-use insurance. You've already seen it in taxis where you insure the taxi ride only. And this will become more and more normal or regular in also the more common insurance industry. And again, this has quite a few implications for how you price your products, because if you're used to pricing a product for everything and only expects claims for a part of this everything, but now all of a sudden you're only going to insure the area where you expect the claims, how are you going to price this? But it's getting there. And insurers who understands this, they will have an edge against insurers who does not understand this or doesn't have the tools or the people to work on this. I think it's a segue to this. We will also start seeing more advanced distribution channels. There is a lot being written about embedded insurance at the moment. In my world, embedded insurance is not just another distribution channel. Embedded insurance is when the insurance product is secondary to a hero product that another channel or another producer is selling. We know the classical example of travel insurance. We know it from gadget insurance. The important point here is when you start selling embedded insurance, it can in no way interfere or slow down the hero product journey. If it does this, then the owner of the hero product will not entertain you, will simply not allow you to sell your insurance product as a rider. Again, it has a lot of implications for how you price, how you design and sell products through the embedded insurance channels. We are also seeing an increasing number of digital insurance attackers. It can be spin-offs from incumbent insurers who basically decide they want to create a brand new insurance company, but fully digital. These digital attackers, they don't have the cost base. They do not have the legacy systems. They don't have the bureaucracy. They don't have the silo thinking and the silo mentality that most incumbent insurers have. Meaning they can move significantly faster, they can change their products much faster, and they can get to market faster. Last but not least is the claims experience. Most insurers, they have figured out the distribution experience, the customer journey for buying and selling products. Also, I would claim many insurers still lags behind when we're looking into the claims experience. It is not easy, but it is attractive to get new customers. Customer acquisition has always been a focus. It drives revenue, it drives growth, and therefore it is where most insurers are quite advanced today. I think the next battle is going to be on the claims experience, where most insurers are not that advanced. The claims experience is still, dare I say, manual, requires a lot of paperwork, approvals, human approvals to move on. So customers who've had a very good buying experience, they will have a less good claims experience. And I believe we'll see the fight coming there as well soon. Now add to this some operational challenges that most incumbent insurers are facing today. We would like to be part of moving fast, delivering the future. But when we go back to the machine room, there is still a lot of operational challenges that we have to face and overcome. Our IT department are bogged down with change requests to existing legacy systems, making it very difficult even for new product development to be implemented into the systems. we are facing quite a lot of bureaucracy and silo mentality because that's how we've been running our businesses for the last 50 years. And it's very difficult to change this. We've been used to the head of this specific product division. He or she has been head of this and is running this completely independently. So now if you start to bundle products, if you start to change the ways that you distribute the products, that you handle the claims experience across all your product lines, it becomes complex because you're changing everyday operations, you're changing workflows. So this is definitely not an easy task. Historically, it's also been difficult to get the data that you need, especially for large-scale underwriting. I would claim that most insurers actually have a quite solid and quite good data foundation. Problem is that they are put in many different databases that maybe not speak to each other, which makes it difficult to get the right kind of data to make a pricing for competitive underwriting. Add to this that the costs of operations are not declining. It is going to be more and more difficult to find the right talent to work for the insurance companies. The cost of operations, IT costs are rising. The cost of administration is also rising. So in general, insurers are facing an increasing cost base as well. So we're having on one side the bright, interesting, promising future, and on the other side, we're looking into a complex operation that might not be that easy to change overnight. This is the future, and this is the current state of our beloved insurance industry. Taking a specific look at the actuarial function, some research done by Capgemini that showed that actuaries, they spend almost half of their time on administrative tasks and not on value generating or sales reporting tasks. And of course, this is back to the systems that you have to work with, the workflows that you have, the documents that has to be filled, and all the administrative tasks that is being required to do on the side of the actual actuarial work. And this is one of these areas where when I look at this, I'm saying, okay, this is ripe for disruption with AI and large language models. Everything administrative that is repetitive is fantastic for large language models and for AI in general. Do we have to do something today? I don't know. I mean, me being me, I would say, yes, you have to do something. You should probably have started doing something a year ago. But on the other hand, I also feel, to be honest, the next 2-3 years, you don't have to do too much. The industry and most insurers are strong enough, resilient enough to keep operations as usual for the next 2-3, maybe even 4 years. So if that's how you feel, I think you can lean back and say, okay, this is not for me. I'll let somebody else doing it. However, I would also say in 3 to 4 years' time, the companies who understand the future, the company who understands how to leverage AI, how to work with large language models, how to work with big data, how to work with breaking down the silos in the insurance companies, how to work with legacy systems. At that point in time, they will be ahead of you. And then they will start to eat your cake. They will start to take your market shares. And if you haven't done anything for 3 to 4 years, it might be too late. And if you're not using AI, the people who are using AI will take your job. If the organization is not using AI, well, chances are it'll be bought by organizations who are. I'm hoping, I'm not trying to paint, a dark picture or anything, but I'm hoping I'm motivating you to get started looking into the AI if you haven't done so already. Of course, it is completely human, natural to be worried about the jobs. And I just want to let this quote be on the screen for a second, because when the photography was invented or became mainstream, all the portraiture painters were literally out of a job overnight. I mean, why would you want to sit for 3 or 4 hours in front of a person painting you if you could do it in 1 minute? Of course not. However, portraiture is not dead, right? But now it has turned into creative portraiture. So the portrait painters, they found another niche, another way of using their skills. I'm hoping to instill this kind of feeling in the actuarials and in general in people who are worried about AI and the threat to their jobs. many of the things that we are doing today may be obsolete in a couple of years, but it's up to us as humans to rethink our skills, our interaction with other humans, the things that we are really good at. Rethink this and say, okay, how can I use these skills? How can I build on top of AI? How can I build on top of what's happening to offer anything more than I did before? This is our challenge. This is what we have to think. This is where we have to work with ourselves towards. So I don't think, and I don't believe that AI will take our jobs, as I said. And one more time, I believe that the people who are using AI will take our jobs, or they take the jobs of people who are not. Now, if we take a look at where AI can be leveraged in insurance, I mean, there are 4 distinct areas. One is customer service, with the chat GPTs, with the large language models, understanding the sentiment of the people that you're talking to, providing advice to the call center agents on how to respond to this, teaching the call center agents how to respond, leveraging the knowledge of the whole organization and simply presenting an answer either to the call center agent or through a chat GPT or chatbot interface. You have underwriting. Large language models can do fantastic analysis into large data sets and provide decision-making support for underwriting pricing. Of course, there is the whole claims experience where, again, AI can be used to identify fraud. It can be used to streamline the claims processes by identifying claims that are safe, to fast-track identifying claims that needs to be re-looked at, and stopping claims that are potentially fraudulent or are not covered within the existing parameters. The last one is a little bit more complex, but nonetheless very, very interesting and relevant. And this is using AI for code development programming. The insurance industry has a large amount of technical debt in the legacy systems, and AI can actually be used to map this technical debt and document it so it becomes easier to work with legacy systems in the future. So these are 4 high-level consulting-like use cases of AI, but I also would like to give you some very, very specific use cases that you basically can buy and deploy tomorrow. Use cases that doesn't require big interference into the legacy system, into your workflows, into your processes, but simply works outside your daily routines and gives you underwriting support or claims decision support. This can be something as simple as data capture, AI or video or photo capture, understanding what is it that I see in this photo, what is it, the insides of a home. Is there anything here that looks suspicious, or when I'm trying to price the contents, you use AI to identify the objects and simply come back and saying, okay, we identified the objects, so based on the video that the customer sent us, this is the expected total value of the contents of this house. It can be used to make videos around vehicles, to make sure that if there's any existing damage on a vehicle that is entering into a new policy, if there is a claim, then this specific damage is not a part of the claim. It can be large data analytics, large data lookup, where you send out a request to an AI machine, for example, for vehicle data or personal information, and it comes back with a decision support saying that if you want to underwrite this vehicle, if you want to underwrite this risk, here are some things that you might want to consider before pricing it. Again, some of these things sound complex, but many products exist today that makes this very, very simple. It basically sends a request out to the system, to the magic of the AI, and the AI returns a value or a decision support for you. If you look at the claims decision support, for example, here the AI would look at your claims history for every claims within a specific area of the insurance company. It will take some benchmarking for similar areas. It will look into the rules, the set of rules that you have, and based on all these things and more, it will return, I guess we can call it a traffic light, a green saying, yeah, we didn't find anything with this claim, so for the system's sake, this is okay to process and pay. It can turn out an orange saying, these 2 or 3 areas were found questionable, so you need to look into this to make sure that you're making the right decision, or it can take out a red saying this is not covered, the thing that we found in the claim, or based on historical data, this could be a fraudulent claim. These are what I call non-intrusive examples, because they work outside your processes, they work outside your workflows, outside your legacy system, which makes them possible to implement really, really fast. So you don't have to start new IT projects. You don't have to start new process optimization projects to get this done. It can be done. It is non-intrusive, as I said. Now, if you just take a look at some of the examples that are in the market for actuarial AI services, that's a lot. And there's much, much, much more than the ones I just put here on the screen. I would recommend that you go look them up, understand what are the pros and cons of these products. What are they offering actually? Just get a feel of what's going on in the area for AI in the actuarial space. I am not an actuarial expert, so I will not go down that road and try to explain. But for actuaries, you will know this much better. I'm encouraging you to be curious, to go out there, look them up, look at what are they offering, how are they offering it, how can I work with it, how can I learn from it, be inspired, understand if you are to use some of these products in your everyday life, how will that change your workflows, how will it change the way that you work, and maybe what demands would it have to the systems that you're working with. One case in point that I would like to make is the Willis Towers Watch and Radar Live. They have a considerable number of use cases for this specific product that demonstrates how loss ratios are coming down, how operational costs are being reduced, and how the overall customer experience is improved by using this AI tool. If nothing else, then it's very interesting and inspiring use cases to read. So after you're done listening to me, spend 10-15 minutes, look it up, and read about the use cases and understand what is this all about and how will it affect you. Because, as I've said a couple of times, it will affect you. End of discussion. I cannot underline this enough times. AI, large language models, the future will affect you. More than likely you've been affected by anything in your career so far. The only thing you can do is be prepared for it. You cannot run from it. Yeah, so I don't want to sound doomsday-ish, but I hope that you agree with it. It is time to rethink the role of the actuary. And I've said many times, I mean, we cannot fight this. If you remember back in, I'm not a historian, but the marathon was invented when this runner, he ran for 3 days to deliver one message. Then WhatsApp delivers in 3 milliseconds today. And I think we'll see something equally profound when we're looking into how generative AI and large language models is going to change not only the actuarial function, but the way that we work with AI. So how do we move with this? I just want to pause for half a second and let you look at some of the findings that Deloitte they did when they were making this analysis. What is the impact of AI on the actuarial function? It's a larger report, but I just took out the essence, the four most important things. And as you can see or read here, that actuaries can expect a profound shift, requiring you to redefine what your profession looks like. My humble hope is that by listening to me, I push you a little towards that redefinition. I cannot underline how important this is. There's another thing that I feel is important, and this is the question, do we still need to worry about mathematics? And yes, because, and this is one of the things that is so important when we're talking about humans versus AI versus machines. The machines, they answer our questions. We still need to be able to ask the right questions. And even more importantly, we need to be able to critically assess the answers coming from AI. If we don't know mathematics, if we don't know underwriting, if we don't know insurance, our field, if we don't know human interaction, if we don't know how claims are working, then we are incapable of critically understanding the answers, recommendations, decision support that AI is giving us. This is one of our roles today and also in the future. So we need to understand the basics. Granted, the basics can be understood faster and more profound than before using AI, large language models. But we still need, as humans, to be able to ask the right questions and to assess the answers to the questions. And on a side note, that's one of the things I'm worried about for our children, because they grow up with AI and large language models. So they don't get the same critical attitude towards it as we have. And I really feel personally, it is vital for our ability to remain relevant in this race and humans. This is where we can make a difference. This is where machines cannot go in and take our jobs, right? I think and I believe when we're looking at where do we get started, then think about AI is where can be used where you have your most administrative tasks, the simpler, repetitive tasks is your everyday life. This is where you should focus on using AI. Writing emails, doing administrative work, doing repetitive work, all these things is fantastic for AI. Back to what I said before, when you start looking at, the critical work, needs new sales pitches, new product development, new underwriting challenges, new analysis challenges, this is where you really need to use your brain. This is where you should focus your time. But let AI work with everything else around you. So you hone in and zoom in on your actuarial skills and work only with this. Everything else, give it to some AI assistant to do for you. And it's easier said than done, of course. But this is the focus that I believe that you should have. And now maybe you're thinking, I know ChatGPT, but what else? What should I be doing? I've created a 3-step or 3-phase model for you that I would recommend that you start looking into, that you recommend that you start focusing on. And the first is, of course, be proficient in the use of ChatGPT. Be proficient in the use of Gemini, in whatever they are called. Find a lot of different large language models, ChatGPTs of the world. Play with them. Understand how they work. Make them your own. You know that ChatGPT, they have something they call ChatGPT Plus or ChatGPT S, something like this, where you can create your own ChatGPTs. You can train them in the way that they behave, the way that they respond to you, the way that they write. Play with it, work with it, understand it. Understand how these models work. And then when you understand this or you feel that you're fairly proficient in this, look into AI actuarial tools like Accurate or the tool that we spoke about from Willis Towers Watson. Look into how they're working. See if you can get some free trials. Call the companies, get a demo, understand it. Find some products that are maybe not prohibitively expensive to start working with and start working with them. Implement them in your everyday life. And the last, or maybe not the last, but in this 3-phase model is learn development language, Python or React, so you can actually start to interact with the models. And especially in a mathematical heavy profession as actuaries, understanding how to program your way into large language models, working with big data, is going to be a key differentiator. And maybe you don't know how to do any development or programming work in Python or React today, and that's perfectly fine. Do you know who your best teacher in that is? Yeah, you guessed it, ChatGPT. Go to ChatGPT, say, hey, I'm an actuarial. I need to learn Python basics so I can use it for this, and that. Boom, you have your course. That's smart use of AI. Well, that change can only come from you. Thank you very, very much for listening. You are very welcome to find me on LinkedIn, connect to me, and reach out if you want to discuss this further. I'd be very happy to hear from you. Thank you very much.